Hi friends! Welcome to today's video. I am hopping on here live today because, quite frankly, I have lots of updates to update you guys on, and I'm in the middle of my wedding season. Things are a little bit hectic over here, but I still wanted to make a video for you, and this is the easiest way for me to do that and keep this up without taking too much time. So anyway, welcome. If you are joining me live, wave, say hello, hop in the comment section, let me know where you're watching from. I'm super excited to be live here again. This is a little bit crooked. Hold on, I have a little tripod here. I'm trying to... Hi, Toya. How are you guys doing? All right, awesome. So I'm glad that you guys can see me. So I have a couple of fun updates for you guys, and I have them written down because I didn't want to forget everything, and I don't want this to be too long. The first update that I have to make is that I have a new camera. This is my new baby. This is the Nikon D4, and I've been using this at all my events and at my weddings. And I am super, super excited to have a new full frame camera. I had full frame before, but this is very exciting. And I love that it has the built-in grip with, vertical shooting. So this is my new baby. I'm super, super happy with it. And it's a little bit different in layout. If any of you guys have the D4, let me know. But yes, it's an amazing camera and I'm super, super happy with it. I think I'm going to go ahead and buy another one because I do shoot with two camera bodies on a wedding day. So I think I'm either gonna buy another D4 or get the D4S. But so far I have been so impressed with it. Alex, the only reason I didn't go with the D5 is price. I feel like these are already such expensive. So yes, Toya, I chose the D4 over the D750 and the 850 just for a couple of different reasons. Number one is I always shoot with a battery grip, so I always wanted the next camera that I got to have the battery grip like built in. I just like the dials on the bottom, and I just like the way that it feels in my hands. The other thing was the file sizes for the 850, I believe, were huge and just not what I need for weddings. So I looked into a few different things. Also, the ISO performance is just insane on the D4 and the D4S. So I always like those. I had some second shooters that used the D4 and the D4S, and I always really loved the colors that came out. So it's really just, it was personal preference. I just like the way the camera felt in my hands. And I feel like the 600, the D600, the D750, the D850, they just don't feel the same to me. I just like a larger camera. So it's literally just how I like to shoot. Okay, so someone just asked, sorry guys, did you ever have the absolute pleasure of shooting with the D700? The colors on that camera have never been duplicated. So my wedding photographer shot on that camera and she loved it, and she ended up replacing it with the D4, I wanna say. But that is like a cult favorite of so many people, the D700. Okay, so my new camera is my first announcement. My second announcement is that my course, my educational course for wedding photographers is launching in July, this July 2018. It had a very exclusive soft launch in December of last year. And I had a super small group of people go through the program, make sure that it worked, make sure that people had the results that were intended, that the course made sense. So it was kind of a beta, and they got super close attention with me in a private Facebook group. And the course is going to be launching this July. So if you're on my mailing list, if you have ever downloaded anything from this YouTube channel or you're on my mailing list, you will hear about it. And if you're on the wait list, I'll be sure to link that after this goes live. I'll link the wait list, because there is a very specific wait list specifically for this program for wedding photographers. And if you're on that wait list, you will receive a discount, and the discount code will only be valid for one day, I think. So just the first day of the launch, I really, really want to thank you for being on that wait list, for following me along in this journey, and for being willing to invest in this education. So thank you so much, Toya. I'm really, really excited. So if you're not on the wait list, get on the wait list. The program is called Hook and Book Brides, and it is a branding and marketing 2-in-1 video course program. So it's not anything quick. It's not a PDF. It has a PDF included, but it's more of a program that takes you step by step by step through the process of building a brand, and not just a brand, but a unique and unforgettable brand that will not only attract but book more brides, and then walk you through what your marketing process can really look like. So how to market, where to market, what to say, and what you should really be thinking about in your marketing for your photography business. So it's specifically for wedding photographers, and I'm very, very excited about it. I've been pouring my heart and soul into this course for, oh gosh, a couple of years now, actually. It's been a long time coming. So I've been doing so much research, reading so many books, and listening to podcasts, and just absorbing as much information as I can. And then, of course, involving some of my years of experience as a wedding photographer. So that course is going live in July. It's going to only be open for a short period of time because I want everyone to go through the course together. There's going to be all kinds of accountability to make sure that you get through the course, that you have help, that you understand the material, and not just that you get the material, but you're implementing the material into your business so that you can really see change. So it's only going to be open for, the cart itself is only going to be open for a couple of days, and then it will be closed. And then we'll go through this program together. So it's very exciting if you want something kind of like a group class feel, but doing it on your own time, online, from anywhere in the world. So it's pretty awesome. The first group of students that went through had a really amazing experience and became really good friends throughout. So I'm excited to see that happen again. Okay. What else? Life updates. My wedding season has started, and it's been a little bit busy, but it's good. It's been fun to get back at weddings, be back in behind the camera, and then of course using my new camera. And then the other thing is I'm doing all of my own editing right now. So I don't know if any of you guys remember, but in the past I had outsourced some of my editing, but I just had so much trouble with the consistency, and I had so many issues with my editing that I had to rein it back in and do it myself. Okay, I have a question here. How much will the course cost, and how many students will be in it? So because the course is completely online and it's self-guided, there's not going to be a cap on how many students can be in it, because you're all receiving the same thing and you're all going to get the same experience. So I don't think I'm going to be capping this first round because there's so many people on the wait list, and I don't want to limit that. I'm going to give first dibs for the discount to everyone on the wait list, and then it's just first come, first serve, and then when the cart closes, it closes. The price point I have not fully established. I'm assuming it's going to be somewhere in the realm of $400 to $500 US dollars. The first round of the course did sell for a little bit less than that, but that's because it was a beta. And okay, I have a question. Will the course be available for download? Yeah, the course will all be held on a course platform where you can watch the videos and go through the modules, and there's a PDF download where you can download it and put it on like an iPad or your computer, or you could print it out. And when you print it out, it creates like a magazine. It's designed in a magazine format. It's about, I want to say, almost 100 pages of workbook pages and supplementary material that goes along with the videos. So it's really hardy. It's kind of like its own textbook. I had some students say that they printed out the book, they decided to just put it on like a clear cover over it, and they're going back to the book, you know, months later and getting more information out of it. So it's kind of like a textbook that's included. But then the rest of it, it will just be available for streaming online, and you have like unlimited access to it, and you would have lifetime access to it. So I wanted to make sure that it would be easy to access, and not everybody has, you know, the capacity to download the videos on their phones or on their iPads. So it's totally fine if you can't download things. You can just stream it and you can just watch it. So you'll be able to do both. So yeah, so I saw someone say that they never outsourced their editing. I did, I think it was last year and the year before, I outsourced my editing. And it was just, it didn't go well, honestly. Like, I tried to give it a really good try, and I tried so much to like communicate what I wanted with these editors, and I used a company that used a lot of different editors. So I think that was one of the problems, is that I was getting a different person every time. Like, of course it's not going to be consistent. But then there was also just the delay, the time delay and stuff like that. So I'm looking into hiring an individual editor to just have an individual that knows me, knows my style, that I can talk them through everything that I do in my post-production so that they would be able to replicate that. And so that's what I'm looking to do in the fall. So for now, I'm doing my own editing. And then in the fall, I'm thinking I'm gonna outsource a little bit of it just because I have back-to-back weddings from August through November. So yeah, August, September, what? Yeah, August, September, October, November. Yeah, those are my busiest months. So it's gonna be a little bit of a whirlwind, but for now I'm doing a lot of my own editing. And one interesting thing is I've started using Kindred presets more than anything else. So I thought I would mention that for you guys, just in case you guys are interested in presets and maybe you're in the market for a preset. I have been loving the Kindred preset. So if you haven't checked them out and you're in the market for a preset, check it out. It is a film emulsion preset, so it's gonna make your stuff look like film. And I think the film that it's emulating is Fuji 400H, I think. Just really like the light and airy look, but it has a little more punch to it. There's just something about these presets, and I'm going to do a demo on the Kindred presets really soon. Just a video that is dedicated to showing you just the different colors and how I use it and like how I tweak it. So if you guys are interested in that, let me know. I will do that. Hopefully I can knock that out next week. But yeah, the Kindred preset I've been super impressed with, and I just knew that some of you guys were asking what presets I use, so thought I would mention it. But I do want to ask you guys, what podcasts are you listening to? What books are you reading or listening to? And can you leave me some recommendations? Because I'm in the market right now because I just wrapped up this new course, Hook and Book Brides. I am now trying to like get into new things, and I'm trying to figure out, you know, what am I going to read next? What am I going to learn about next? Because I've just done so much research on branding and marketing. So the two books that I just recently reread were Primal Branding and oh my gosh, the other one was, it's a Content Inc. So it's all about content marketing. Both fantastic books. Primal Branding, if you are a reader, you have to read this book. It's incredible. It's actually required reading at Google. So that just tells you it's got to be amazing. If you want to work or intern at Google, you have to read Primal Branding. So I really loved it. And then one podcast that I'm listening to right now that I'm loving is Building a Story Brand by Donald Miller. So he has a book, Donald Miller does, about branding, about story brand. And I read that as well. So it's really good, but the podcast is just so solid. They interview so many amazing people and they just ask the right questions. Just a really well done podcast if you're interested in podcasts. But I would love to hear from you guys. What are your books and podcasts right now on your list, or books that you're trying to read? Just things that you'd like to get to over the summer. I would love to hear from you guys. One other thing that I thought you guys might be interested in is I made a couple of updates to my styling bag, the bag that I bring to my weddings. I actually have it here. So I reorganized how I display all of my ribbons and stamps and fabrics and stuff like that, just because I used to have all of this inside of a bag and it just didn't make any sense. I couldn't see everything. It would be like, now I have just my fabrics in this bag and they're folded and it makes sense. But I used to have all my ribbons in a bag, and I couldn't even fully see every color that I had, or, you know, the different kind of spools, or that some of them were velvet. Like, I just was overwhelmed. So I ended up putting them in this little box, and this has worked out really well for me because just the way you put down a flat lay, you can see what you have. And then the other thing that I did was I reorganized all of my stamps by color. Sounds crazy, but when you're at a wedding, there is not a lot of time for styling. So the more that you can be thought out, the more that you can have your styling aids figured out ahead of time, the better. So I have like my ribbons, my stamps, and then I just put rubber bands around these. And then the other thing is I have a new tray. I don't know where it is. I think it's actually packed up for this weekend. I have a wedding on Saturday, but I have a new tray, and if you guys follow me on Instagram at Joy Michelle, you'll see that tray keeps popping up in like every picture. So I've been bringing this tray to weddings, and it's come in handy so many times. I can shoot the shoes on it, I can shoot the bouquet on it, and it's kind of this distressed gray tray, and I got it from Southern Grown Vintage, and I know you can get them from that vintage company. So if you're looking for, you know, trays or backdrops or things that you could add to your flat lays just to make detail shots at a wedding day easier and just look, you know, a little bit more elevated, a little bit more sophisticated, check out that tray for sure. All right, I'm gonna quickly go back in these comments because I missed a bunch. Okay. Jennifer, I don't know what your name is, like all blurred together, but Jennifer says, yay, I want in. Awesome. Jennifer, if you want to get into the course, get on the mailing list and you will for sure know when the doors open so that you don't miss out, because they will be open and close. And I don't know when I'm going to be launching the course again. I will launch it again in the future for sure. So save now. If you can't make it this round, there will be another launch. I just don't know when I'm going to be able to launch, just because weddings and busyness. So potentially the end of this year, probably just next year. So you might have to wait a year if you don't get in on this round of the course. Okay. Alex says, I've got the D700. That's a great camera. Cindy said, I've heard so many great things about that camera. Yeah, I'm loving the D4 so far. I really am. Okay. You guys are so pumped about the class. I'm so excited. I can't even tell you how much effort and time and intention and research I've put into this course. It's not just some quick, you know, 10-minute video saying like, you should post to Instagram. Like, it's substantive. It builds upon itself, and there's a lot of homework, and you have to dig deep, and by the end of it you have your brand completely fleshed out and you have a marketing plan completely fleshed out. And the really cool thing that I also like about the course is I feel like there's a lot of information that you can use, where if you came back in 6 months, so you implemented those first things, and if you came back 6 months later, you could implement some different things. So like, you wouldn't even be able to use all the information. It's so much information, but in like a good way. So you're gonna be able to cherry pick what you wanna use, but then you can just come back when you have time and, you know, energy, maybe even in the fall or booking season. That's going to be just such a prime time to come back and start, you know, some new marketing efforts. So that's just why I'm so excited for this course, and I can't wait for you guys to get your hands on it and really be able to flip through some of these PDF pages, see what the course is all about, and hopefully get some amazing, amazing results as well. All right, I'm just scrolling through you guys' comments. Okay. We're mostly just talking about the D4 here, all the different cameras. Hi, Mimi from Lancaster. You guys are awesome. Very cool. Okay. Okay, so Jackie says, I worked as an independent editor for a local photographer in the area. She would pay me per wedding. Communication is key. I completely agree. I think that is it. Like, you have to have that relationship and that line of communication. And I think the reason that outsourcing my editing, when I did do that last year, the reason that it failed is because it was a company that every time I sent a wedding, it was someone different. And that just doesn't make sense. Like, the whole concept of it doesn't make sense. And I think, you know, for whatever reason, they struggled with my style of editing. They just didn't know how to achieve the Joy Michelle style. And, you know, I'm not saying that my style is like anything sophisticated, but I just think for whatever reason, they struggled with it. Okay, and Jackie said our style was similar to each other. You have to get that. You have to understand and see color the same way. So that's great. That's exactly what I'm doing. So I've interviewed a couple of independent editors, and I feel really, really good about one of them. So I think I'm gonna start sending weddings to them in the fall. Okay, Jennifer says, yes, do that. What happened to your comparison video of Maston and Kindred? So let me look, let me see. It's somewhere on my channel, but I mostly am just using Kindred now, to be honest with you. So I'm going to make a follow-up video to that and show more, because I know people wanted to see more of the kindred editing. So I'm definitely going to be doing that for you guys in the future. Okay, Southern Class Photography says, I edit for others. It's a huge help if you can get a personal editor. My clients edit, wait, sorry, your comment just disappeared. My client edits like me, and it's totally all about getting that relationship. You're right. You're so right. So that's what I'm doing. I definitely learned the hard way. And that's, you know, I'm not going to be doing that in the future. Okay, Ingrid says, do you have a physical planner? If so, which one? Yes. I have a planner. It's right over there. I guess I can get it. Hang on, I'll be right back. It is by, I bought it at Anthropology, and it's a 2018, it's like a school agenda like year, so it has like more than a year. So this is the front. It's kind of, I've had this since August of 2017. So it's pretty beat up. But it's like hardbound, and that's what I really liked about it. I found it at Anthropology. It's by, here, let me cover this up. It is by Fringe, and I really, really like it. So there's a lot of rose gold going on. Like, this has like rose gold spiraling, and then there's tabs all along the edges. So this is really cool. And then it has your week, and every day gets not a page, but I guess a third of a page. So I've been using this since August of 2017 when I purchased it. I just wanted to double check. I just looked, and the pages are completely filled for August of 2017. I also use a lot of stickers. If you haven't noticed, I have like bridal show, family time, rest, edit, coffee date. Like I use a lot of stickers. The stickers are from Laura Casey shop. She has the, not the simplified planner. That's Emily Lay. Laura Casey, oh my gosh, someone help me. Laura Casey has the power sheets. And I also use power sheets. I haven't used them in recent months. Usually you do them once a month, and you put all your goals, and it helps you completely tackle big goals. So I used them for a couple years. I've always purchased from them. But now I just use her stickers. So I'm really loving this planner, but what I'm actually moving into in terms of planning and scheduling and all of that is digital. I resisted it for many years. I've been in business since 2013. And I've always had a paper planner, and I also have a wall calendar. So I have a 12-month wall calendar for the year I'm in, the year that's coming up, and I have every wedding that's booked on the wall calendar so that my family can see it if they want to know when I'm working and that kind of thing. So I have always used that method, but I need to move to digital. It just doesn't make a lot of sense. And now that I use HoneyBook for my booking software, and I use like a planning app in association with HoneyBook, it just doesn't make sense that some of my stuff is online and some of it is in a planner. So I will probably be phasing out of a paper planner in terms of business. I'll probably always have a calendar and a paper planner just for personal stuff and writing down like goals and grocery lists and stuff for my household, but I don't think I'm going to be doing that for next year. Karina says, what planning app do you use? So I'm just gonna be using iCalendar or Google Calendar. Right now I have a Google Calendar in association with, there's a free app, but there's like an online thing where people can book meetings with you. It's Calendly? Yeah, Calendly. And Calendly syncs with HoneyBook. So I tell Calendly what days I'm available. I've told Calendly, I want to take meetings Tuesdays and Thursdays from these hours. And so my clients and my mentor clients, so students that want to study with me, photographers that want to learn from me, they hire me and I just send them my Calendly page. And then when they book, it goes straight into my Google Calendar. So that's the kind of integration I really, really need in my life and my business, because I just don't, sometimes things are going to slip through the cracks. And the good thing about Calendly and setting up, Google Hangouts and having Google Meetings is that you get reminders, you get notifications or texts. So it's just really, really helpful. So I think that's what I'm going to be moving into for 2019. which is crazy to say, 2019, like that sounds like not soon, but it is. Southern Class Photography says kindred is life. It really is. It took me a second to get used to it. The colors are just so different than Maston in terms of like the sliders, but I can achieve a little more life, a little more punch in my work than I could with Maston. So I'm really, really loving kindred. Okay, Nick says, is it imperative to use presets when editing? No, you don't have to. You really don't. You're editing, what you do in post-production to a file is completely up to you. Obviously, most of us were shooting in RAW or a DNG or something like that, so we have to do something in order to get it into a JPEG or a usable format for our clients. But what you do to color correct or not is completely up to you. So some people, they literally will just, you know, tweak things just a tiny bit, sharpen, change their, you know, balance, make sure the horizon line, make sure the composition looks good, and then they export. Like, they are really clean, really minimal editing. I like to use a preset. I use a variation of presets. So what I do is I would purchase a preset or create my own preset and then just make it my own and save that, because I find that I will have much, much, much more consistency in my final gallery from wedding to wedding to wedding when I use a preset, because my colors, my tones all kind of have that same look and feel, because I'm doing the same thing to every single picture. So I think that it helps just for my own consistency, but I know a lot of photographers that they don't use presets, or they have a bunch of different presets. So you really just have to figure out what works for you. And there's really no wrong answer. I think I caught up on my comments. Awesome. All right. I'm gonna hop off in just 2 minutes. So if you guys have any other questions about anything that we talked about today, or that you just wanna ask, go for it, throw it in the comment section. I have to run quickly to a coffee meeting. I have a meeting with another wedding vendor. It's just like a networking thing. So I'm doing that. So I'm gonna be in Annapolis, and then I'm gonna run some errands, and then I'm gonna come home and get right back to editing. So I've been trying to edit and free up my memory cards for this Saturday, just because I like to not be too behind in my editing, and this time of year that's a little bit tricky, but I'm trying. I'm trying. So I'm gonna have to get myself like some sort of double shot latte situation and get back behind the computer. And the other thing that's annoying me is my computer is getting so slow, and I know I need to clear some things off my desktop, delete my trash, like I need to go through and clean it off, but in the meantime, it's just giving me a hard time. Leighton says, greetings from Australia. What invoicing software do you use? I use HoneyBook for everything. So HoneyBook is my client management software. So not only can I get my contract signed, but I also invoice them and get paid through HoneyBook. And I think HoneyBook uses Stripe, but I don't see that. So it's Stripe technically, I think. But what I do is all in one client portal, I'm able to converse back and forth with my client, have their contracts, their brochures, their questionnaires, anything that we've said to each other is all saved in this portal. I can send them, you know, vendor recommendations, and then I can say, hey, your balance, your 60% wedding balance is due. Here, you owe me this much money. And they can just click, 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 add in a credit card or PayPal, and they can just pay me. So that's how I get paid. And it all happens automatically. I think that's the nicest thing, because I used to have to like look at my wall calendar and be like, okay, I need to invoice, you know, the Thompsons because their wedding's in 30 days. So I used to have to like sit there and write them an email and try to think about what to say and, you know, let them know that they owe me money. Like, I never do that stuff anymore. My software automatically says, hey, your second payment is due. This is a friendly automated reminder, and I never have to think about it. So I just get notifications on my phone that I've gotten paid or that they sent me a questionnaire. So it's all automated. So if you don't use anything for your client management, I highly, highly recommend you look into HoneyBook. If you look at any of my other videos, I'm gonna throw it in this one when it re-uploads, but if you look at any of my other videos in the past, I always have a HoneyBook link so that you can get 50% off your first year. It is an affiliate link, so I do get paid if you use it. You don't have to use it, you can use someone else's link, but it does give you 50% off, so do not pay full price for HoneyBook. It makes me so sad when people pay full price. All right, Karina says, how many gigabytes do you have in memories? On my computer, I genuinely don't know. I couldn't even tell you. I have to look it up and see what free space. I'm sure that has a lot to do with why my computer is so slow. That's a great question. I usually just try to keep my computer organized and clean and don't expect the actual computer hard drive to store too much. And then when it gets slow, I give it to my husband and I try to get him to fix it. But I need to just get in there and figure it out. Okay, Naomi says, how long do you save pictures for your clients? Legally, I think I have to save them for a year. In my contract, I say that I will archive them for a year, that on my Pixie Set gallery, I will back it up for a year. Technically though, I never delete them. I have so many external hard drives. I spend so much money on external hard drives. But I just want to keep them. I just want to archive them. So legally, I only have to keep them for a year, but I never actually delete them. Oh, Karina says, on your SD cards for your weddings. That is a more interesting question. So when I used the D610 and the D600, I used 32 gigabyte cards. And I know that's like a tiny bit small, but for the D610 and the D600, it really worked out well because they can fit around 1,000 files on each camera when I have 32 gigabyte cards. So what I would try to do is never shoot over that amount in a given wedding day because I'm doing 1,000 on each camera, and then my second shooter probably has 1,000 or 2,000, and I really don't want to be calling more than 4,000 pictures of a wedding. I think that's ridiculous. So it really helped me not go over that amount. Now that I'm shooting with the Nikon D4, it's a totally different system. It has a CF card and then a QXD, I think. I don't know exactly what it's called. Totally different system, and I have 64 gigabytes in this one, and I think it can hold almost 2,000 images. So it may be somewhat similar. I just decided to size up so that, because I wasn't exactly sure how many images would fit on it, if that makes sense. So you really have to figure out what, you know, your shooting style is with your card. So what I like to do is I like to have a memory card dedicated to an event. So if I shoot a wedding and I still have space on a card, I don't go and shoot another engagement session on that card. I would just switch it out, put it in a case, put washi tape over it, and write down like Skrawowski wedding. And then I put that aside and start new cards because I just like the organization of it all. So I started over on 64s with this camera, but that's because the files are just a little bit bigger. So that's what I'm doing on this camera. But almost every other card that I own in SD is a 32. Okay. Will says, hi Joy, are you shooting 12 or 14-bit files? Honestly, I don't know. I think I chose 14. I'd have to go into the menu and look. I'm looking at the back of the menu right now. When I originally set up the camera, I mean, I obviously went to RAW. I made sure that it's recording RAW on both the cards. You know, I'm shooting in like a certain white balance with a certain ISO, and I always shoot on manual. I don't know. I'd have to look and see. Do you have a recommendation for one that you prefer? I'm curious what you guys do. Ingrid said, do you shoot dual shoot with cards for a backup? Yes. Yes, I do. So I always shoot on 2 cards, and I always have the camera record the same thing to both cards. You have to make sure that the settings inside your camera aren't using the second card as an overflow, but rather as a backup. So I do. All my cameras have 2 card slots. All right, guys, I am totally going to be late to this meeting if I don't hop off, but it has been super fun connecting with you guys today. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm going to throw some details in the description section with Hook and Book Brides, the wait list, how you can get on it, and how you can be the first to know. Of course, if you are in PhotoBoss, the Facebook group, you will hear about it, and you won't miss out. So if you are excited for that, let me know. Give me thumbs ups, and leave me a comment and let me know if you're thinking about joining the Hook and Book Brides course. I will see you guys in that course in July, and I will see you next week on this channel. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you later. Bye, guys.